What's going on, everyone? So, as promised, here is my Final Destination franchise review. And spoiler alert, I will be talking about Bloodlines. If you haven't seen it yet, I did try to give some time since it came out. So, if you haven't seen it yet, do go ahead and watch that before this one because I'll be talking a little bit about it. I'll be giving my favorite kill in it, and then come back and watch this. And of course, give it a like. So, here's my franchise review. First place, I'm going to give to Part 2, Final Destination 2. I love that movie. I think it's the best out of the entire franchise. Now, I know a lot of people are on the Bloodlines bandwagon. Bloodlines was a great addition to Final Destination. I just don't think it was the best one. A lot of people are saying that it was. I don't think so. I think there was a lot of hype behind it that didn't live up to, didn't live up to itself. But not saying it wasn't a great movie, not saying it wasn't a good addition to the franchise, but it just wasn't my favorite. So Part 2 was my favorite out of the entire franchise, and I give that first place. Second place, I give, and this is a close second. This is almost a tie as a close second to Final Destination 1. Final Destination 1 was absolutely awesome. It was groundbreaking. It was revolutionary the way it's like just death coming after people, you know? There's no like character or anything. This is something I've always said about Final Destination, why I think the sequels work for it, is because of that. Because there's no like main villain character. It's just death itself. And everyone is going to get it. Everyone dies. And death just comes at everyone in these very bizarre and outrageous ways, which I love. And these are some of the things. These are why we watch Final Destination, right? Is for these kills and everything. We want to see people just die in these ways. So that's Final Destination. The first one gets second place. And again, a close second. Part 3, I'm going to say, gets spot number 5. Now, this is not saying that I didn't like Part 3. It's just out of all the movies in the franchise, I give this spot number 5 because I liked it, but I just thought it was a little, they got a little lazy with it, and it was, not so great. I mean, it was good, just not the best out of it. And, not too much to say about it. It had a good premonition scene with the roller coaster. I thought that was cool. And the train scene at the end, that was awesome. Final Destination 4, let's just skip over that one. That one was trash. To me, it just seemed like a cash grab. I did not like it at all. There was nothing about that movie that was like memorable or, in my opinion, really like worth mentioning. So we're just going to go ahead and get away from that one. That's the only one in the franchise that I didn't like. So Part 5. Part 5, I loved. I actually really enjoyed Part 5. And I give it spot number 4. I give it before Final Destination 3 because Part 5 was really cool. It was done really well. They kind of bring it back to almost like they did the first two. I really love the ending, how it comes back before the first one. It's like it's actually like a prequel. And usually I'm not into that, but this one really surprised me, and it was very well done. The premonition scene in this one, I give second place for premonitions. To this one on the bridge, that was done really well. I love the way the kills were in that. I love the way the bridge was breaking apart and everything. So, and it had some really cool kill scenes in Part 5. So I give that spot number 4. But I think that Bloodlines, getting to part number 6, Bloodlines, I think was just a little bit better. But again, it just like Part 1 and 2, I'm going to give these almost a tie. But I give the edge a little bit to Bloodlines. Just, I don't know. I think it was just a little more like engaging and entertaining in certain aspects. So I give Bloodlines just that little bit of an edge and put it at spot number 3. But again, I won't say that it's the best of the franchise, like a lot of people are saying. I think that's a lot of hype, and I'm not going to buy into that hype. I still give number 1 to Part 2. Part 2 had hands down the best premonition kill scene and probably some of the best kills in the franchise. If not, at least the premonition scene. That scene just traumatized so many people. It was just so cool, especially when seeing it in theaters and surround sound. You felt that, and it just felt so good and so like awesome to see that the logs falling and just destroying people, and just the whole chaos with the car crashes and everything that ensues after that. It was awesome. And till this day, it still holds up as number one for me. Premonition wise and just movie wise. Final Destination 2 takes that cake. Bloodlines, I give that Premonition probably I would say the fourth in the series. I would say the first Premonition goes obviously to 2, the second Premonition to part 5, and the third Premonition to part 1. I really loved part 1. And that Premonition with him burning and everything, with the plane falling apart and people being sucked out, that was really cool. So I give that number 3 for premonition scenes. But Bloodlines, I give number 4. I thought that was really cool, the way they bring it back like many years before any of these movies, and it shows William Bloodworth as a kid. Now, getting to William Bloodworth, I heard that there's rumors of a Final Destination 7 in the works. I got to say, I am not excited about that. I am not happy about that. And I'll tell you why. I think it's disrespectful to the character, to William Bloodworth, to Tony Todd, as a character who is pivotal to the Final Destination franchise. I think Tony Todd actually, even though he had very small parts in each movie, like I said, that small part, that character of his was so pivotal to these movies. And I know people are going to say he wasn't in part 4. Well, again, we're not talking about part 4 because that sucked. And he wasn't physically in part 3, but he did voice the devil in the beginning on the roller coaster Premonition, and he did voice the conductor at the end when he says "end of the line" and the train crashes. So he was a presence in part 3, even though he wasn't there physically. But the way part 6 ended, Bloodlines, and again, spoilers here. I love the way it ended. At the end, you think the train is going to kill Stephanie and Charlie, and it doesn't. And what happens is the log truck crashes into the train after the train crashes, and the logs come over, and that's what kills them. And I thought that was such a awesome and great nod to part 2 and to that just outstanding and memorable premonition kill scene. Again, that scene was so memorable that they're even using it in Final Destination Bloodlines, and they used it to end it, and I thought that was awesome. Second, why I thought Bloodlines should be the end is, of course, because Tony Todd. He signs off to his fans in that movie, and it was very emotional if you hear his words and everything. And I think that should be the end of it. These actors, they make these characters, and to in my opinion, to try to take their place with anybody else, or to try to do things without them, when they play such a crucial role in it, in my opinion, that's a lot of disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just my opinion. So I won't be watching Final Destination 7. If it does come out, it's not something I'm interested in. But favorite kill in Bloodlines, I love the garbage truck scene with Julia when she's crushed by the garbage truck. At first, it kind of makes it seem like she might make it out. It seems like Stephanie might help her out of it, and they stop the garbage truck and they tell the driver that somebody's back there. So you have this one little second where you think she might get out of it, and then nope, the garbage truck continues to crush, and just the way her face was crushed against it, and the bones breaking, you could hear all that breaking, and the way it looked, her jaw and her eye popping out, that was awesome. I love that scene. Followed by, and I'll give this a close second, the MRI scene. So I know a lot of people love that one because it like breaks his body with the wheelchair coming through and his piercings coming off. That was awesome. But I give the edge to Julia in the garbage truck. I really love the way that looked and the way the sounds of it. Like I said, the bone crunching and all. So this is my Final Destination franchise review. Hope you like this one. I want you to comment and let me know what you think about this. Let me know your opinion. All right? Take care. See you next time.